Hello, my name is Siobhan Malloy and I'm the officer in charge of venues, festivals and international at the Arts Council of Northern Ireland. I'm going to offer you a quick overview today of the Project Funding for Individual Artists scheme, which is currently open for applications. This scheme is part of the Arts Council's wider funding support programme for artists called the National Lottery Support for Individual Artists Programme, or SIAP for short. You can apply to more than one scheme within SIAP, but you will only be awarded one grant in any one funding round. You can find out about our other SIAP schemes from our website. Please read the guidance notes carefully for each scheme to find the one that is most suitable for you and your project idea. The Arts Council's arts officers can offer general guidance to you on making an application. If you are D-deaf, disabled or neurodivergent, the University of Atypical can provide support with completing your application. Please contact the University of Atypical as soon as possible to ensure sufficient time for the support process. The Arts Council can make information available in other formats tailored to individual requests, such as large print, braille, audio, easy read and British Sign Language. We welcome applications from the widest possible range of individuals, representing all categories under Section 75 of the Northern Ireland Act 1998. The Arts Council particularly welcomes applications by disabled artists and by artists from the generally unionist community, as applications from both these demographics are currently underrepresented across our programmes aimed at individuals. For artists who have previously applied to the SIAP programme, you should be aware of a number of important changes that we have made this year. We have introduced a new scheme called Project Funding for Individual Artists. We no longer offer separate funding schemes for General Arts Awards or Artists' Career Enhancement. We have amalgamated these into the new funding scheme. If you received funding from us either through General Art Awards or the Artists' Career Enhancement Scheme in 2022 to 23 or 2023 to 24, you cannot apply this year to the new Project Funding for Individual Artists scheme. We have reintroduced a limit on the frequency of reapplications because our budget is limited and subject to extremely high demand. By reducing the frequency with which successful awardees can reapply, we aim to widen the opportunities for those artists who have not yet received support. You can still apply to any of our SIAP schemes for which you have not received an award in 2022-23 or 2023-24. Finally, in response to feedback from the sector, we have increased the size of the individual grants that are available, and I'll talk about that in the next section. Project Funding for Individual Artists scheme is open to artists working across all art forms and disciplines and at all stages of their careers. The closing date for applications is 12 noon on Wednesday, the 18th of September 2024, and we will announce our decisions in November 2024. The scheme is for projects which take place between the 1st of December 2024 and the 30th of November 2025. The Project Funding for Individuals scheme aims to support the wide range of activity that can be undertaken by artists of all disciplines in relation to their practice and to enable innovation and experimentation. A project and its associated costs can be any activity that develops and supports your creative practice. Project proposals could, for example, include creating new work such as a novel, a play, album, a piece of video art or circus performance, and so on. And this can include the costs of collaborating with others, development, workshopping, staging a small independent production, presentation costs, and costs of materials. Or your project proposal could include funding for research and development, facilitating innovation and experimentation, professional skills development, receiving mentoring or training, or participating in a residency. In previous years, the maximum grant you could apply for was £7,000. This year, we have raised the maximum request to £10,000. The minimum amount you can apply for is £3,000. If you submit a project proposal requesting an amount less than £3,000 or greater than £10,000, your application will be deemed ineligible. If your project is successful, you may be offered only a contribution towards your total request amount. We welcome applications from artists of all disciplines and all types of working practice. You do need to have made a contribution to artistic activities in Northern Ireland for a minimum period of 1 year within the last 5 years. You need to live in Northern Ireland, and you need to be at least 18 years of age and not in secondary education. In a limited number of cases, individual technical staff or administrators of professional artistic companies may also be eligible for support. We particularly welcome applications from emerging artists at the early stages of their career as professional artists. Practicing artists who are also undergraduates, postgraduates and academics employed in third-level educational institutions are eligible, so long as the project is not part of your academic study. Please consider Arts Council's budgets are limited and subject to extremely high demand. Our priority for project funding for individuals, as with all our support for individual artist schemes, must be working artists seeking to develop their practice and careers. If, rather than developing your career as an artist, you are seeking to develop and enjoy your personal creativity more, many organisations funded by the Arts Council offer courses and outreach programmes which provide opportunities in support of that aim. Eligible project costs could include, for example, art materials, the cost of your own time spent on a project, residency costs, artistic or technical fees, including production or post-production costs, travel and subsistence associated with your project, technical and IT equipment. This year, in recognition that open self-publishing platforms are now part of the publishing ecology, we have included, as eligible, certain costs associated with self-publishing. The Council does not fund prolonged study at centres of further or higher education, work which forms part of your professional or academic employment, translations of literary works, websites, film, TV or media projects, applications relating to projects or commissions already in receipt of Arts Council funds, and individual artists seeking to purchase musical instruments can make an application to the SIAP musical instruments for individual schemes once it's available. You must apply using our online system. We will not accept applications by hard copy or by email. Online applications can be edited, saved and returned up to the closing date. You will find the link to the online application system on the Project Funding for Individual Artists webpage. If you have any queries about the eligibility of your project or a cost within it in relation to a particular scheme, please contact the relevant Art Form Officer at least 2 weeks before the application closing date. Staff contact details are available on our website. Please do note, however, that our officer's advice is restricted to general proposal eligibility and costs. We cannot give consideration to detailed budgets or comment on written proposals until a full application has been submitted. Please ensure that you leave sufficient time to upload all your documents to the system, because as we approach the deadline, there may be hundreds of people trying to submit to the system at the same time. Applications to the programme will close at 12 noon precisely on Wednesday the 18th of September 2024. If your complete application is not fully uploaded when our system closes, your application will not be accepted. If you submit your application by the closing deadline, you will receive an automated email advising that your application has been successfully submitted. If you do not receive an email, your application has not been submitted. All applications will be assessed by Arts Council Arts Development Officers against the stated criteria and within the competitive context in which all funding applications are evaluated. We will announce our decisions in November. I cannot stress strongly enough that before you submit an application to us, you must carefully read the guidance notes for this scheme. These are available on the website. The guidance notes will help you to understand what we require from you when making an application. We look forward to receiving your application.